Hey, by the end of this video, guys, I'm going to tell you exactly what I do to never run out of things to say. You'll find out that you'll always be able to keep a conversation going with somebody if you just follow along with what I do. So I also want to point out that even if I tell you what I'm going to tell you inside of this video, I want you guys to notice when you talk to people, you're going to find that there's really two kinds of people that you can talk to. There's going to be people that you like, your friends, or if you're a girl, your girlfriends, that you tend to naturally have a much easier time talking to. Like if you're really comfortable with somebody, it doesn't really matter what you say, the conversations just kind of flow. And then there's also going to be people where even if it is your friend, it just seems like talking to them is very difficult. And that's why I film these videos, because for people like that might not have the social skills that I do, they might not know how to, keep conversations going, or they might not know how to ask questions. But I just want you to pay attention to that you're going to find people that are really easy to talk to, and this is the kind of people that I'm going to be filming this video for you guys for, because those are the people that you can have great conversations with. And then you're going to talk to people where it's very difficult to have conversations with them, almost because they, like I said, they either don't know how to have conversations, or they're just not putting in any effort. And if you're a guy that's talking to a girl, if she's not putting in any effort, more than likely it's because she just doesn't want to talk to you. So just pay attention to that. So if you like what you see in this video, guys, please give the video a like or thumbs up. It's a brand new channel, and it would really put me, it would help promote me in the algorithm. That way I can help other people. All right, so never running out of things to say is really easy, but we need to talk about a skill that you're going to have to develop first. If you're a man, women naturally have this ability. This is just something women are just naturally good at, and that's going to be active listening. So active listening, and this is funny because if you look at girls, they're all, when girls argue with their boyfriend, they're always like, you never listen to me. So this is something that I had to work on myself over time. And active listening is basically if one of my three Labubu's right here were talking to me, I have to focus on what it is that they're saying. I have to sit here and literally pay attention. I can't, don't speak, pay attention, look at them in the eyes or their mouths. So mainly the eyes. Look at them in the eyes, 'cause that's going to show confidence. And when they say stuff, people are typically going to give you things that you can use to keep the conversation going. So let me pull this. So I have right here, I'll just give you an example of text message or something I can use it. So Maddie was like, wait, how embarrassing, LOL, my last text was this pic. So she sent me a picture of myself holding her cat when her cat was when her and Nick got the cat, when the cat was still a little kitten. So from here, if Maddie didn't follow up with my last text was this pig, I could have been like, well, hey, what do you mean by that's embarrassing? Or what's embarrassing, question mark. So that's an example of what I mean, that if people are going to give you, they're going to respond to the questions you ask them. And those responses, if they're able to communicate with more than a couple words, are going to be good enough for you to keep asking questions on. So for an example, if you're talking to somebody new, and this could be a guy or a girl, and let's say you're out in public somewhere and you're talking to if you're at a bar and you're talking to the dude or the girl next to you, and you ask them, hey, where are you from originally? You don't sound like you're from Florida. And they're either going to answer, oh, I actually am from Florida, or for the most part, because I find most people nowadays are not from Florida. They're from New York, New Jersey, Boston, up in that top right corner. So if they say oh, I'm actually not, I'm from New York, this is where, so that answer right here, I'm from New York. Now, there's a couple different avenues that we can go down here. We can say, oh, how long have you been in Florida? How long have you lived in New York? What brought you to Florida? What do you like about New York that Florida doesn't have? What do you like about Florida that New York doesn't have? Or what was life like up in New York? You see how these questions, so they told me they're from New York, and I'm just asking deeper questions about that. Oh, I'm from New York. Oh, that's awesome. How long have you lived in Florida for? Oh, about 5 years now. Really? That's long enough for me to ask this question then. So do you miss being back home in New York at all? And I asked this question because Some people they do, some people miss it, and then some people actually don't. And then they're going to answer, "Oh, I don't miss being up in New York. I love Florida so much." Really? What about New York? Do you not miss? I mean, I've heard it's a great place to be. And then they're going to tell you. And then you can turn around now, depending on their answer, because I've never been in New York, so I can't role play with you guys right now. But depending on their answer, then you could, if they say like, "Oh, I don't like the people up there," you can say, "Well, what about the people do you not like?" Because I've heard people in New York, from my understanding, people up there can be pretty mean, but you're from there, so that might not be the case for you. And then they're going to explain, "Oh, actually, you're right. The people up there, there's just a lot of them. It's like crowded everywhere we go. People are really mean, especially if you go to like Jersey and they're in like a really bad mood." If you're from there, I've never been. I'm just kind of role playing right now to give you guys an example of how to never run out of things to say. So now from there, let's say that the person, we know they're from New York, but let's say they answer what they don't like about New York, but it really doesn't give you anything to work with. Well, from here, your ability to ask more questions is going to be is what's going to hold this conversation. So if they give you an answer about what they don't like from New York and you don't think you can work with that, then you could say, "Okay, well, hey, let's come back to Florida. What about Florida do you really enjoy? Or is there anything about Florida that you love?" And they're going to tell you. Now, a lot of the times people are going to say like, "Oh, I actually really love the beaches here." That's just what most white girls here say. And you say, "Hey, which one's your favorite?" We've got a couple in my area. We've got 3 different beaches. So I would say, "Hey, which beach around here is your favorite?" And they're going to tell you. And then you can say, "Oh, why do you like that one?" So you guys see how I'm just asking questions based on the things that they're saying. Now, if we want to go a little deeper, especially if you're a guy talking to a girl, one of the things I teach in my main channel is, because I help men understand women, is that we want to get a woman to feel good. Like we want a woman to associate feeling good with you. So we would want them to explain an experience or a feeling. "Hey, well, so let's say they say I love going to Lido." "Oh, that's amazing. Walk me through the perfect day on Lido. What would the perfect day on Lido look like for you?" And then they're going to have to visualize that, and they're going to have to explain that. And then you can say something like, "Wow, that sounds like you're having a really good time. Does going to that beach make you feel happy?" And then they're going to say yes. And then you can say, "Well, is there anything about that beach other than that perfect day you just described that makes you feel happy?" All you're doing here is just getting them to explain a feeling. Now, like I said, that's even I, depending on the conversation, because like right now I'm role playing with you. So I've got questions that you can ask that can get people to go into like deeper emotional questions. But in the sake of this video, how to never run out of things to say would simply be like, you're gonna ask a person a question, or like if they start talking to you first, then you're going to answer their question, then they're going to say something, and based on what they say to you, now you just ask a question based on the statement that they gave you. Remember, anytime somebody says something to you, assuming it's not like a yes or no answer, that's why we want to work on asking open-ended questions. What about the beach do you love? What about Florida do you love? Is there anything about Florida that you don't like? Would you live anywhere else other than Florida? Say these are now, that one could be a yes or no question, because if it's a no, then in that case, no, okay, well, then you can't go anywhere. But they say yes, I would live anywhere other than Florida. Well, oh, where would you want to live at? So even then, guys, you see, the main premise of never running out of things to say is take the response that someone gives you and just ask a question based on that. This is going to stop you from going like surface level, especially if you're talking to, or I would say men or women like it better. Like when you're asking people questions, now there are going to be people that get offended because you're asking them questions. I've had girls in the past tell me it feels like I was like prying or interviewing them. So this is where the questions you ask, this is where I brought up the emotional questions, because if you ask like interview style questions, I guess it can feel that way. However, I talk to a lot of people on an everyday basis, and people, for the most part, when you want to get to know about them, their likes and like their hobbies and what they're passionate about, when you ask people questions like this and you get them to talk about themselves, so in this case, what this person loves about the beach and a perfect day for them, they're going to feel like you're trying to get to know them more. And especially if it's a girl, that's going to make them like you more. People love talking about themselves, and the quickest way to make somebody like you is by asking them questions about themselves. Because if I didn't say it already, I just did. People love talking about themselves. So that's going to be how you never run out of questions or never run out of things to say, is just take their response or take their statement and ask a question based on that. Now, remember I said there's going to be two types of people. Number one is going to be like the people you're comfortable with, or even if it's a random stranger, people that naturally are good at talking. Those are where conversations can be the most enjoyable. And then there's going to be the other kind of people where talking to them is very difficult. If that is the case, it doesn't matter how good you are at having conversations. Like, I'm phenomenal, and even I can't sustain a conversation like that. So if you guys like this video, man, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. You would help, promote the channel and the algorithm. With that being said, guys, hey, I'll see you in the next one.